All right, everybody. Welcome to Dad Talk today. It's a good Sunday morning. Hope everyone is well. I'm joined with Mr. Dwayne Ward and a good friend of mine, Mr. Adam Vena. What is going on today, guys?
Good morning or good afternoon. Thank you again.
Yeah, well, it is good morning still for you.
Yes.
Because you're on the West Coast.
West Coast, correct.
Yeah,
I'm representing Midwest. It's 11.
Yeah.
You're Eastern, so noon. So we got just about everybody represented.
I'm still making up. I got sleep debt from the trip, so working on some coffee. We'll get there eventually, but how you guys been doing, man?
I'm enjoying the Sunday. I mean, it's another great day for me, and I'm just enjoying it.
You going to get you some Dave's hot chicken today?
I had it yesterday. Actually, we were off camera. We were talking about that. Yeah, for those who don't know, Eric let me know about a place called Dave's Hot Chicken. And since I found out about that, the family and I have ate there. I don't even want to talk about how many times.
And it's only been what, a month?
It's only been a month. Yeah, it's only been a month. I think we ate there 6 days in a row one week.
It's not that good.
Did you not? Yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, we actually had it yesterday. So
have you tried it before, Adam?
No, I was just gonna say they just opened one up a few months ago down the street from me, so I might have to go check it out today.
The story of it's actually pretty cool, man. It started in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, it's California.
Yeah, it's California based. These friends got together and they had just very little bit of money, and they bought some chicken and started like a chicken stand. Next thing you know, it did so well, it's a national chain now.
Wow.
And it only started, what, 6-7 years ago or something like that? I might have that wrong. It's not long for them to expand that quickly. They had to do something right.
Yeah.
Those Lucky Charm milkshakes.
The milkshakes are good.
Oh, God, yeah.
Well, it sounds like a crazy combination. So they do these milkshakes and they put cereal in it. So if you can imagine eating a bowl of cereal with milk,
talk slower.
With milk, a bowl of cereal with a milkshake. It's pretty good, dude. I imagine people that smoke pot are loving that place.
Awkward.
I'll have to
not that, Dwayne, I know you never have. I'll put that out there. I'm just saying it probably makes it next level good.
When you go there, the chickens are huge. The sandwiches, they put a rub on it, sauce, all 9 yards. But chocolate Lucky Charm shake.
Really?
It is oh my God, it's great. Yeah. So
now you've piqued my interest. I'll have to go check that out.
I made a commercial about Dave's Hot Chicken.
He's next level on that stuff, man.
Yeah, I put together a commercial and push it out into social media, and it's
thank you, Holly. Thank you, Holly. She said it's not that good.
No. Oh no.
What's up, Pat?
What's up, Pat?
Yeah, so guys, just getting a little joking and fun out of the way before we kind of get into a serious subject. Today's subject is a hard one, and I know we might have some new followers that's never seen Dad Talk today. So to say that, so there's something I've been fighting against for probably about the last 5 years now. And one of the first shows that I ever saw on the subject really broke on Dad Talk because I think it was such a taboo subject, such a sensational subject that nobody believed that it was real. And it was the fact that there was these moms that were trying to turn their kids into the other gender. In this case, turn the boy into a girl. And it's not just to the extent that they want to dress the boy as a girl or put makeup on them or paint the nails. They want to get surgeries on them to remove their privates. And then they want to give them hormone replacement to where if you're a man, they want to give you estrogen so it lowers your testosterone. Or if you're a girl, they want to give you testosterone to lower your estrogen. Fooling with God's work. Getting away from his original plan because he didn't know what he was doing. I think this is one of the most evil things on the face of this earth that could ever be experimented with. And the fact that it is going on in the United States of America. I want to make sure anybody watching this, I think there has been this false sense of that battle is all over because Trump got in and he said he was going to do something about it. Trump did pass some laws against this, and I was glad he stayed true to his word. Has it changed anything for the parents in my hemisphere that I have been shouting for the last several years? Not a thing. Adam, how long have you been fighting this now?
I've been fighting this almost 5 years now. It started when Aiden was 2 years old is when I got my first glimpse of what she was doing to my son Aiden. And I can go right into it. I spoke out against it, thinking that it had stopped. And on Aiden's 3rd birthday, we were potty training Aiden at the time, and he asked me, he said, "Dad, I got to go to the bathroom." I said, "Great, buddy. You want to go by yourself or do you need help?" He said, "Oh, no, I want to go by myself." I said, "Perfect. Let me know if you need some help with anything." So he went in there, did his thing. He said, "Dad, I need help washing my hands." I said, "All right, let's wash your hands." And as we were finishing washing his hands, we were drying them off. And that's when he told me that Mom had bought him a pink dress. The way I'm going to tell you guys, and the way I'm going to tell your audience, I got down on one knee. I looked him in the eye, said, "Hey, buddy, you're a boy, not a girl, and boys don't wear dresses." He looked at me. He said, "Okay, Daddy," and he went back to having cake and ice cream. And a few days later, I don't know if you want me to continue, Eric. And
keep going, bro.
Okay.
Keep going.
A few days later, it was really building up inside me. And that's when I sent out a bunch of text messages. And again, I want to emphasize to you guys and your audience that in those groups of text messages that I sent to her, none of them were threats of violence. None of them were threats, "I'm going to come kidnap the boy." None of the threats were, "I'm going to come beat you up." Nothing like that. It was basically stating, he's a boy, not a girl. Stop doing this. And there was some bad words in there, but there was nothing in there to warrant the criminalization that I've been put through over the last 4 years.
Well, if I may,
yeah,
if I heard that my ex was trying to turn my boy into a girl, I think I'd have some choice words too, Adam. I'll just say it like that. I don't know what words would come out of my mouth, but that's pretty sick. And I would want the person to know you need to back the hell off. But go ahead, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think, I even in court, I'll fast forward, even in court, I wrote a letter to the judge and to everybody in the courtroom apologizing for the text messages, but also stating that the text messages doesn't warrant the criminalization that you guys have put me through. It doesn't deserve for me to be completely separated from my son. If I told him if I was a dope head or if I was an alcoholic or something like that, or if I had put my son in harm's way, then the actions that you guys are doing to me mean it. But there had been none of that. Anytime that me and my son's mother ever got into a fight, there would be fighting, there would be exchange of words, there'd be yelling. But I always left the house. I always got in my truck and I left the house to let the situation calm down for the both of us, because I didn't want it to escalate to the level where it would be irreversible, if that makes sense to you. So I always left the house. Go ahead.
What was the timeline? So, because now I'd say it's almost getting to be commonplace for this situation to happen. Something happened a few years ago where every divorced, mostly women, thought that this was the thing to do.
Right.
But when you were going through it, I think it was unheard of. It wasn't
very, very taboo, unheard of. I mean, to the extent when I remember when I started reporting on Younger's case, which was the first one I heard of, people didn't believe it. You still have people that don't believe it and try to say that it's not really happening, even though there's cases all around. And if you go in public, you'll obviously see what's going on. But there was people that don't think it's going on still. But back then, more people than not thought, there's no way this could be true. Nobody would actually do this to a kid. Yeah.
I didn't hear about Jeff Younger's case until 2 years into the process. And I really dove deep into who Jeff Younger was to find out what his case was. And I needed to talk to Jeff because he had been in this fight a lot longer than I have. I don't think people realize how long Jeff has been in this fight. I think it's been about 10 years, 10, 11 years
Right
now,
at it,
something
yeah.
like that. Yeah. So I really wanted to I was desperate. I needed somebody that kind of understood what I was going through. And Jeff was one of those people that really, I could talk to a bunch of people, but to talk to a father who is actually going through this, I don't think Jeff realized how much of an impact he's had on me. And I'm sure how much of an impact he has had on other fathers that are going through this. Cause this is just not a normal, he said, she said, or this is not a normal, custody battle. If this was a normal custody battle, I don't think anybody would know who myself was.
And you and Jeff Younger's lives intersected in other ways.
Yes.
Later.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So when we were sitting in court, it was very, very one-sided. They never allowed the father to talk and to share his feelings or what he thinks is going on with his son. The biggest thing was that Judge Harvey Silverman out of Pasadena, who is now retired, that I just found out, ordered a gender assessment to be done on Aiden at 4 years old. 4 years old.
It's ridiculous.
And I, mind you guys, I also want to let you and your followers know, I got to be careful, but excuse me, I did not have an attorney at the time that stood up and fought for me or my son, nor did minors counsel fight for my son. Minors counsel is supposed to be there to advocate for the child. Nobody else, just advocate for the child. Go ahead.
If I may stop you there for a second, Adam, and stay right there on your thought. I want to give a little bit more context for the viewers that what time frame are we talking about right now, Adam? 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
This was Aiden's 7 now. I lost him when he was about 4 years ago. So
okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
Guys, back then when this situation was still just barely scratching the surface and people were finding out about it, especially me with Dad Talk and fighting for Jeff Younger, you have no idea how hard it was to fight for these guys. We weren't allowed to say anything on social media. If we said anything about this being bad or not being good, you would get your page taken down. You would get your following. I mean, till this day, there is over 1.5 million people that follow Dad Talk today. I don't reach hardly none of my audience because I have been censored like crazy because I fought for dads like this. Anytime we would speak up for one of these dads fighting against this gender transition surgery, I knew there was going to be consequences. It affected my livelihood and everything because that page was everything that I had. But I know what it was like on social media. But for these dads inside of the system, if they said the wrong word inside of the courts or to the therapist or anything, there was big consequences. They almost forced you guys to have to go along with the narrative. And if you said one little thing that they did not want you to say, you could lose your kids, you could lose everything. And it was the most criminal, disgusting thing I've ever seen. It was so hard for anybody that pushed back at the narrative to actually be able to fight. So I wanted to add that context. 4 years ago, now, because it got so woke and crazy, people started pushing back and they fought. We was talking about this yesterday, Dwayne. We're allowed to talk a little bit more on here than we used to be. We wouldn't have been able to have this conversation on here 4 years ago, not to the extent that we're having now. We did it anyway. We did it anyway and tried to we really skated the borders on it. But yeah, it was that bad. So I just wanted to give that context, Adam, because you had to be very careful in how you said everything and watch everything you do.
So you didn't have an attorney. They got the assessment. I mean, at 4 years old, the kid came back and he was probably a transformer or a dinosaur.
Yes, sir.
What does he think he is? I mean, I wouldn't come back as a dinosaur or a transformer at 4 years old. What happened?
Well, the gender assessment came up. Judge Harvey Silverman ordered the gender assessment. I heavily spoke out against it in court at 4 years old. And I knew even before I learned about Jeff Younger's case or Harrison's case or any of these cases, I knew exactly what was going to happen. as soon as I set foot in the family courts. I knew I worked my ass off, excuse my language. I worked my ass off to keep it out of the family court system. I did everything to please her when it comes to visitations, when it comes to support, when it comes to anything like that, because I knew once I stepped foot into the family court system that I was done. It was over for me, and it was only gonna make the situation 100 times worse.
Yeah.
And I've seen that. I saw it firsthand. I think all of us have seen it firsthand what the family court can do to, you know, the family unit and to the father. But so the gender assessment came up again. I spoke heavily against it. I wanted to sit in on the gender assessment. I didn't want to try to sway left or right, but I wanted to sit. Yeah, I wanted to sit there and see, because I called Children's Hospital Los Angeles gender clinic. Mind you, it's called Adolescent Youth Clinic. And I asked, okay, what steps are you going to take? I was polite. They always referred me to their website. So, okay, I'll get off the phone. I'll go to their website. There was nothing on their website that talked about exactly what steps to take. And I say this a lot, you know, when they're sick or if they have cancer, there's proper steps we take for that person that has cancer. There's A, B, and C, and D. But with my son, they went from A, oh, he likes to wear dresses, to Z, he's a girl. They never treated the middle. They never treated it properly. So I asked to sit on the assessment. That was denied. I hired my own child therapist to sit on the assessment, not to sway left or right, but just to sit there for myself.
As a father, you're a parent.
Right. That was denied. I was also denied a phone call from Dr. Jonathan Juarez from Children's Hospital of Los Angeles for him and I to have a conversation on my feelings and what I think is going on with Aiden. So the assessment was 90 minutes long. Aiden spoke 5 minutes, right? The rest of the time, the mother spoke during the assessment. And they found out that he did not have gender dysphoria, but he was gender curious, right? So I don't know what that means. I don't know.
I was just about to ask you, did they ever explain to you what gender curious is?
No. I haven't. I'm going on 4 years, guys, and I haven't talked to anybody from Children's Hospital. I physically went to Children's Hospital to try to have a conversation. Only 5 minutes later to be met by the instructor, which called LAPD on me, which escorted me out of Children's Hospital of Los Angeles.
So, you know, I remember being a kid, and then you would have like all the toys laying there, and then you would see a Barbie. And as a boy, you know, you saw that Barbie had humps up here, and you kind of wanted to peek down there as a boy to find out, what does that look like? Right. I wonder if I would have been a kid nowadays and done that, would that have made me gender curious?
Yeah, it probably would have. They probably would have started treating you as a girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I just don't. Go ahead, man.
Think about that time frame, 2021. It was on PBS.
Crazy,
it was on every TV show, commercial. I mean, hell, I was 50 or whatever at the time. I was a little gender curious, like, what the hell's going on here? 4-year-old kid that has the boy and girl thing. They're watching all these. They're getting bombarded with all this propaganda. Yeah, curious too.
Yeah, absolutely. And
all these years with man and woman, and this is a new issue. And Jeff Younger talked about this for a while and like really made sense of it to me. Like gay rights, they have been working for 100 years trying to get gay rights or gay marriage. And I'm not going into whether you're for it or against it or anything, but it was one of those things. It took a long time for that issue to go where it started in the beginning to where it is now. Whereas transgender in these kids, we heard about it the first time, 10 years ago? I'm sure it existed before then. We know that. But I'm talking about on the grand scale of things where it was happening all over the place. That was like maybe 10 years ago. And then look how far it's gotten already. There was a huge agenda behind pushing this. Make no mistake.
Yeah. And Jeff can explain it a lot better. I mean, back then it was like 1 in a million that had gender dysphoria. 1 in a million or something like that. And now it is, in the last 4 or 5 years, transgender kids have just completely spiked through the roof, just over a very short period of time. And I want to go back to the assessment part. Her new attorney apparently got a new diagnosis, right? So we requested, my new attorney, or my second previous attorney, requested to see the second gender assessment, and they would not give up the second gender assessment. So to this day, we have not seen the second assessment. So what that is telling us, either there isn't one because, or there is one, and they paid a doctor to write they went to so many doctors to get the correct diagnosis. That way they can go further on this. And I mean, some of the therapists I've looked up are that he has been seen is just absolutely horrendous. And I lost my train of thought, but they have not treated me.
It's okay.
They have not treated me as the father. They have treated me as excuse my language, but the sperm donor or the ATM machine in this whole entire thing. They once I started speaking out against this, they stripped me of absolutely everything, medical, dental. They stripped me of I mean, it took, God, man, my story's out of control, dude. I asked for visitations before a lot of this got out of hand, and they said, "Oh yeah, we got a supervisor for you." Well, I don't need a supervisor. I haven't done anything wrong. Well, we're gonna basically give you a supervised visitation to see your son. So in the 7 months that we negotiated visitations, the first month, that was on me. I fought it tooth and nail, the supervised visitations. I sat down with Aiden's grandparents, or my mom and dad, my brother, and they said, "You know what, Adam, go ahead and go along with the supervised visitations. That way that little boy is in your life, and you can try to sway him that he is not this way." I had this, there were stipulations on that. I couldn't talk about male stuff, and I couldn't talk about his attire. So if I had visitations with Aiden and he showed up in a dress, I could not try to correct that behavior. Wow. 7 months down the road, we were talking about, Adam, we've got, minors council said, "Oh yeah, we've got a supervisor for you ready to go." I said, "Great." In the email, I said, "How much is it? How much do I got to pay? When is this going to start? I want to get the ball effing rolling on this." Right. 7 months down the road, I get an email saying, "Sorry, Adam, but we dropped the ball on visitations." They were never going to give me my son. Nope. Out of all the emails that I read, they just kept roadblocking me, and now that I look at it 4 years, 5 years down the road, they were never going to give me that little boy. No. They were never going to give me him. I could have done everything right. I could have said, "Oh yeah," I could have shown up in a dress myself.
Exactly.
I could have said, "You know what? I'll wear a dress to try to make
that would have some effect.
It would have.
And we know it has, because there was a father out of Ecuador that did that.
Right, yeah.
But I don't want to start giving crazy solutions out there for crazy problems. But again, I did some research, and I thought you might want to hear this, Adam. In the year 2000, guys, out of 100,000 people aged 13 to 17, roughly 0 to 4 people presented with gender dysphoria. We're not even looking at 0.001%.
Right.
In 2019, this was the latest study I could find, and the problem is much worse now than it was in 2019. But 4 out of 100,000 in the year 2000. In 2019, 475 out of 100,000. So if it would have been 8 out of 100,000, that would have been 100% increase. Right. Dwayne, maybe you can do the math for me. It went from 4 to 475. What percentage increase is that in kids saying they all of a sudden have gender dysphoria?
I mean, don't even look at the numbers.
We'll just say it's out there.
Yeah, it's not. I think back to when my kids were younger. The big thing in school was being bisexual, and then the generation before that, every kid wants to be different. So when that propaganda starts hitting them, they're like, oh, I want to be different like everybody else. They're trying to fit in. And this is just going to become the latest thing.
There are so many variables, and it's not okay to discuss the variables because then you're looked at as crazy or misogynist or sexist or transphobic or, oh my God, there's so many different labels up there. I can't xenophobic. I can't keep up with all of them. But one thing that's also increased in the last 50 years is the amount of single parent households and the amount of kids being raised by a single mom. Now, if I am a boy being raised by the opposite sex and I never have that same sex attention in the house, would that create a disposition to where I might actually enjoy that same sex attention because I'm not getting it at home? Maybe would that be a reason why that means so much to me? Because I can tell you as a man, we love being around masculinity. We love being around our dads. We love being embraced. And unfortunately, a lot of these boys are growing up without that father figure at home. Yeah. So could that explain why he all of a sudden wants to be around masculinity instead of femininity? Because he's growing up around his sisters and with his mom all the time? I'm just saying, I think those are parts of the conversation that we haven't even been allowed to speak about because you end up with one of those labels on you or a Facebook tag.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I was raised, my father did a real good job of raising me around masculine men. I mean, my dad was a chaplain down at the Union Rescue Mission on Skid Row. Most kids during their summer vacations would go to cool places. Not me. My dad took me down to Skid Row. I was hanging out with gang members. I was hanging out with murderers. I was hanging out with the real, I guess, low people. But the guys in the program at the Union Rescue Mission raised me. They treated me like I was their own, even though I was a white boy surrounded by a bunch of Hispanic and black guys. These guys treated me like their own. And I always told my mom, I'd rather go down there than go to school. I'd rather hang out with those people. But I learned so much going to the Union Rescue Mission. It was almost my dad was scaring me straight without trying to scare me straight. I mean, I would see
dads do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he taught me, my dad taught me everything going down to Skid Row. I mean, how to use public transportation, but he showed me that these guys, they might be bad, but they're still good people. And I think about those days. I miss those days. But my father did. And absolutely, I was hanging out with Crips and Bloods at 10 years old. It was
what handkerchief do I wear? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. But it was I always give a lot of props to my dad. He did an amazing job raising me and my brother. And I give that's the type of fathers that we, not taking them down to Skid Row or something like that, but that's what's missing in some of these kids' lives is that father figure
in your kid's life.
Yeah,
the kid's not getting that masculine figure. How long has it been since you've seen Aiden?
I haven't seen Aiden and I haven't physically seen Aiden in 4 years. The judge ordered FaceTime conversations, but it was getting too difficult to see him either wearing a dress, talking about how his mom's sister was buying him makeup and earrings. He had a treasure chest full
basically gaslighted you the whole time.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Well,
because they knew I wasn't going to be able to handle it. And I tried, guys, I tried so fucking sorry to cuss.
You're good, bro.
I tried so fucking hard to not, I don't want to say embrace it, but I tried everything in my power to keep that connection with my son, Aiden, whether it was FaceTime or if it was a physical interaction with my son. I tried my hardest. I've made some mistakes, but the mistakes that I have made in this situation do not warrant what they have done to myself and what they have done to my mom and dad, what they have done to my brother, Aiden's grandparents, and Aiden's uncle.
Making
You know.
mistakes makes you human, but the fact that you can admit to those mistakes makes you an even better person. But this
And I
is the
admitted
part of
them
the
in court.
conversation. This is the part that gets lost in it. Not only are you not seeing your son, your father's still alive, correct?
Yes, sir.
Your father hasn't seen your son.
Nope.
What about your mother?
Nope.
Has anybody in your family seen your son?
Nope.
It's not just the father that gets alienated in these cases, guys.
Yeah.
It's the whole family. And that should tell you something. It's all about control. And because it's this controversial issue of wanting to change the kid's gender and the dad doesn't want to go along with it, he just completely gets destroyed. I think in order for them to get this madness stopped and to do what's right, not only do we need to outlaw that, anybody that made you do a supervised visitation at him and sit on a screen and watch your son on that screen come over in a dress and you got in trouble for getting upset for seeing that, they should be put behind bars. They shouldn't be anywhere near children. You were witnessing child abuse on the screen, and you're the one being kept away from your kid in the process.
Yep.
That is the sick thing, guys, we know as family court in the United States. And let me tell you why it's gotten so bad. Most people don't realize it or get involved unless they're going through it. And then because of how crazy it is, there's so many people that see this and say, oh, that's nuts. I can't watch this because this just gets me all distraught. And then they turn off reality because it's so bad and it might mess up their day. I can't look at it anymore. And then there's fathers like Adam and Jeff Younger and Pat down there and Harrison Tinsley that have nowhere to turn, guys. Nowhere to turn and no one that will speak up for them. They are forced to go do these visits and know that their kids are being taught this mess. They're being told that their kids might literally get their privates cut off and get foreign hormones pumped into their bodies. The number one thing, look, I am not a very religious guy, even though my dad was a pastor. The fact that the church is sleeping on this right now and not getting involved angers me to no end. What is the church doing? What is the church?
Eric, they're not doing anything.
Flipping the tables right now, dude.
I made it, dude. It's so funny you fucking bring that up, dude. Pastor Jack Gibbs made a comment about AB 495 the other day. It's now they're going to pass a bill here in California that anybody can go to the California government website, download a form, sign it with no background checks, no IDs and nothing. And they can physically remove the child from the school, right? There's a lot more to the bill than that, but that's basically the gist of this bill, AB 495. Pastor Jack Gibbs got on his platform and said, that's it, California. If they pass this bill, everybody has to move out. Why do we have to move out, Pastor? Where were you, Pastor, when the churches were being locked down during COVID? Where were you when SB 107 got passed in California? Where was your voice when AB 1955 got passed? Where was your voice when they were pumping kids full of puberty blockers? Where was your voice when they were chopping healthy body parts off? Where were you when drag time story hours were going on? It was quiet. Absolutely quiet from the church. And I made a comment, where were the California churches when all this stuff was going on 4 years ago? Where was the California? I know. I speak for California because I know.
No, I got you. But all the churches worldwide.
I know.
Where are you?
I know. Exactly.
I'll tell you where it is.
They're affirming it.
The churches are no different than the government and our politics right now. The reason they don't want to change this inside of the legislation and politics is because a good majority of your legislators are attorneys, guys. They're the ones that make money litigating this. And if they clean up the laws to the point that they don't have to go and argue these cases, then they don't make money. So it's good cop, bad cop. I'll tell you what you want to hear when you're in front of my face about how we want to clean up the situation. Then behind closed doors, I'm not going to do jack squat about it because I'm making too much money off of it. Whereas the churches will tell you that it's wrong, it's a sin, and that something needs to be done. And they'll give you a nice sermon on Sunday. But when they know those bills are going on, instead of getting the church to go down there and hold signs and pass out flyers and being back up to these dads going through this, they stay in their buildings, they preach their sermons on Sunday, and they pass that offering plate, and they act like they don't see any of it. Because if they actually go down to that Capitol and they get involved and do what Jesus would have wanted them to do, they have to start paying taxes on the offering.
They would lose.
They lose their nonprofit status. And because I could lose that nonprofit status and that money, this is my opinion, and I am very strong on that opinion, because they would lose that tax exemption, they stay silent on it. And dads like Adam, like Jeff, like Harrison, like Pat have to go in those courts, and they have to go in these legislative buildings amongst all these thieves, and they have to fight alone.
Yeah.
And it angers me, man. It angers me because nobody could have more influence on this than the church. They could get it squashed immediately. Could you imagine if all the churches came together and said, hey, we're putting an end to this now. Show up to the capitals. Do what needs to be done. Let's take up an offering. Let's get these dads the help they need. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, I was at an event, 2 weeks ago for somebody running for governor, and there was a lot of pastors there. And I felt like I was in the scene of, The Godfather, sitting down at the dinner table. I mean, they had the fanciest suits on. One guy looked like one pastor looked like a guy out of Scarface. He had velvet shoes on, no socks on. The pastor's wife was wearing this low cut shirt. And I'm thinking to myself, that's not, and we're getting way off topic, but that's
no. He's learning, Dwayne.
That's not Christianity. You know what I'm saying? That's not what Christianity should be. I mean, Jesus was out in the streets. He was not surrounded by four walls.
He was praying for the sick.
Yeah.
He was going and praying for the poor. He was washing their feet.
Right.
What you saw me do a week ago in West Virginia with the Whitakers, that was the church, man.
Yes.
That was more a church than any of the things I see on the corners any day. And I'm sorry, guys, it just was. And from what I remember reading in the Bible, that's what it called us to do. I don't see the modern church doing that one bit whatsoever. It's about giving people routine, making them feel comfortable so that they come by and they pay them tithes and put money in that offering plate and go away until next week and make sure you come back. If I actually start talking about wives being submissive or what needs to happen inside of marriage or the importance of the father at the home or making sure this transgender stuff doesn't happen, I'm going to start losing people from my church.
Right.
They're cowards.
Yep.
They're cowards.
Yep.
And I know those are some big, bold statements. I will say this. I've seen more pastors. I think there's one. I want to say his name is Mark Driscoll. If you guys haven't heard him, I would really like to get him on the show. He's doing really good work and stuff on that. So there are some out there doing it. I'm speaking for the majority, obviously, because you'll always get that. Well, not my pastor or not this guy. Well, I got you. The majority, guys. The majority.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, when you see the trans progressive flag waving from the church, you know that the church or this specific church has been infiltrated.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we'd be, like you said, I don't think we'd be in the spot where we are today with family court fathers and the absolute assault on children if the churches would have really, really stepped up their game. I truly believe that. And it's sad to see because I was raised in it. But
I'm a pastor's son. I'll say this though. I'll say this about my dad. My dad 100% would have gotten involved.
Oh, my dad
that was
too.
Probably why my dad didn't have a mega church too.
My dad got kicked out of his church because he was talking about a church without walls, and the congregation did not like that, and they basically
You mean the first century church?
Yeah.
That's all it was. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure we're connected here. Yeah. The way it was done before the mega church came along. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the Bible.
Yeah. He was definitely preaching about that, and they definitely did not like that at all. So
I'm going to go in a completely different direction with something, and I'll apologize up front.
No,
I don't know if you've ever seen this, and I found something on the internet when I was scrolling around, and I know this might be hard for you to look at. I've had to see pictures and stuff like that before that people would show to me, and as a father, seeing pictures of your child when you're in a situation like this, it's not the I don't like looking at pictures. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
This is a picture that your son drew from what I found, and I'm just curious your thoughts on it. I believe this is his mom on the left with the rainbow flag.
Right.
That's your son on the right, and he has himself as a girl.
Yeah.
How does this make you feel here, Adam?
It absolutely makes me feel terrible, Eric. Because that he is now, my biggest fear is now that he sees himself as that 100%. He doesn't see himself as a boy, which he was made. He sees himself as a girl. And I look at that, Eric, and I feel that there's no saving him at this point. And these are just my opinions. I know people would tell me that
I got you. You're entitled to your feelings. You're not saying your feelings or truth or anything. It's how you feel at the moment in time.
Yeah.
You're entitled to that, brother.
Yeah. I look at that and there's no saving Aiden. I mean, if I look at that, if I do get Aiden back, I'm going to cause more damage to him trying to bring him back over to where he was born. And I could not live with myself if I caused. Yeah, I can live with myself now knowing that I haven't caused Aiden any damage, because I haven't done anything to put harm on him or lie to him or anything like that. But I look at that and I go, if I get that little boy back and I try to put him in boys' clothes or I try to get him a haircut,
his life will be miserable.
His life will be miserable.
I 100% feel. I know where you're coming from because I know the same thing. Even if you could get rights to them,
right?
You get, a couple days every weekend or every other weekend. There's going to be an argument over everything you do. It's going to be what they eat, how they dress, what they watched, what clothes they're wearing, the bed they slept in. It is going to be a fight on everything. The kid's life will be misery. And unfortunately, because the courts allow this to happen and allow that high conflict parent to be the one with control, because that's what's profitable for them. You guys got to understand, they do not make money by putting the child in the household where the kid will be taken care of, because there's no litigation with that. They don't want to solve the problem. The attorneys make money off of conflict. They don't get billable hours by doing the right thing. They get billable hours by making sure the parents do this. Two people that no longer love each other, now they're fussing over a kid, and the more they can make them argue and disagree on stuff, the more they go to court and say, well, judge, this is what they feel about this one right now. Hey, we was in the court 10 hours today. It's $400 an hour. You owe me $4,000. That's what the court system is, guys. That's how they want it to exist.
And that's just one piece of this with the whole transgender nonsense.
Oh, God.
The pharmaceutical piece, which they have lobbied California and Texas and everywhere else, billions of dollars. How much, and I'm sure you guys know the numbers, how much must a transgender person pay each year to stay on that medication? Something like $80,000, $40,000.
Oh, dude, you're a customer for life.
Yeah,
you have to take those hormones for the rest of your life. Big Pharma is the biggest winner out of anything with these transgender cases, and the statistics have shown the depression and the mental illness gets no better if they get that surgery, and the amount of people, guys, we can't say the word that starts with S, when they take their own lives. That
Right.
issue
Self-delete. Yeah.
skyrockets. That community has the highest rates
Well-
of deleting themselves than
Post.
anyone else. And when they get these surgeries, it does nothing to affect those numbers or make them go down. They're going up.
That's right. And even the doctors and the therapist will tell the parent, would you rather have a live daughter or a dead son? And most parents are like, well, I don't want my son to or my child to delete themselves. I'm going to go affirm this and to know that they're not going to, delete themselves. But in fact, like you said, it's the complete polar opposite. So these doctors and these therapists are lying to parents, using scare tactics on those parents to make the money.
Absolutely, man. And go ahead, Dwayne.
Well, I want to jump in because Donna Jones made a comment. And when you guys were talking about, if you were to get,
I saw that. I wanted to
back,
say something. He's not giving up on his son.
Right.
You've got to understand, this is a guy that has fought. All right.
Oh, yeah.
So let me bring Jeff Younger into this for a second. Again, 10 years he's been fighting to try to keep his ex from putting his son through gender transition surgery. Right. He has spent $1.5 million, guys.
Yeah.
$1.5 million. This went down in the state of Texas. She has gotten away with it every time. Jeff currently, after all these years of fighting, all that money is without custody of either of his kids. He just got a letter in the mail not long ago that said they're changing his son's name to a girl name, and Jeff's not even allowed to know what that name is. Okay. No matter what they do inside of the court system as a dad, if you're going through this issue, nothing works.
Nothing.
That's what Adam's trying to tell you, is he feels like he's at the end of his rope. Yeah. Nothing's working. Obviously, he's not giving up. Adam, you're spending your Sunday. Today's your off day, and you're on here talking about your son because you love him.
Yeah, I'll be in Sacramento.
I don't think people understand the situation you're in.
Yeah, I mean, I was in 56 different hotels in the last year and a half. I've traveled all over the United States, speaking out against this. I've gone to Washington, D.C. To speak to Marjorie Taylor Greene and Nancy Mace. I've spoken to, just real briefly, Speaker Mike Johnson on this. Even though it was only a 5-second interaction with him, I was still able to get in front of him, not only to speak about my son, but to speak about the kids all over the United States that are going through this, to speak for parents that are going through this. I mean, I went to a Gen Spec meeting in Denver, Colorado. That was my first major thing to find out, like, this crazy world that I've gotten thrust into. And I spoke to almost 50 different moms and dads who lost their kids to the transgender stuff. And not because the parents were transitioning them, but because the kids were picking it up on TikTok. And that's how their kids socialized, got transitioned, is over the TikTok. So it's not just schools that are doing this to our kids. It's just not parents that are transitioning their kids. It's social media too. So parents have to look at the social media. Yes. Entertain. I mean, I was watching.
They even wanted to go after your American beer with Dylan Mulvaney.
Yeah. And so I have done everything in my power that's legal to fight for Aiden. I have done everything to try to stop this madness that is happening to Aiden, and to bring more awareness to our kids, because again, there's a full-on frontal assault on our children here in the United States. I know Canada is a little bit worse than we are, but I don't speak for Canadians. I just speak for the U.S., and our kids are under attack, especially here in California, guys. Some of the bills, Jeff Younger lost his son because of SB 107, which made California a transgender sanctuary state. So a child or a child's parent can take that child from, we'll use Texas, and
Texas knew it.
Yeah, and Texas knew it.
Republican, conservative. I'm in Texas. I'm a conservative. Right. the Republicans in Texas, all the way up to the governor, they knew exactly what they were doing. Exactly.
Yeah. So
I'll
I'm
never
guys.
be told otherwise.
Yeah, guys, I'm not giving up on my son, Aiden.
Oh yeah.
No.
Even if I had Elon Musk money, billions and billions of dollars, I think I would still be in the same boat that I am today.
Well, you mentioned Elon Musk. He is in the same situation
richest
you're in.
man in the world, and he went through it himself.
And I wish, again, my personal opinion, I think Elon Musk could have done a lot more for forefathers if he would have spoke out against it more heavily. I know the man is probably devastated because he lost his kid to this stuff. I mean, any parent, any parent that would lose their kid, but he had the power to really bring this to the forefront even more than it already is in the last couple of years.
I mean,
I feel for Jeff. I feel for Elon Musk. I really do. For what they did to his kid.
I mean, but you look at Jeff, $1.5 million didn't work. And let me tell you, people, you got to understand, Jeff was probably one of the dads that was smarter than his attorneys. One of the smartest guys I know. So for him to not only spend that money, but go to the lengths that he did to get the results that he did blows my mind. Elon Musk, no matter how much money the guy's worth, he couldn't stop it in his own life. It is one of the strongest issues I have ever seen. And people might think this is just kind of not that big of a thing in that they don't have that much support. When I'm doing a documentary on Jeff Younger, and we're about to continue on making that, I ran out of funding. But I had a lot of people that I interviewed on it. Riley Gaines, Walt Heyer, among many others, was in that documentary, and I still got to finish it. I want to talk to Chloe Cole and several others, Adam, and I hope you'll help me reach out to them. But when we was there in Texas shooting Jeff's documentary, I didn't know it, but they had the bill that banned gender transitioning surgery for kids in Texas going for vote that next day. And when I found out about it, we drove all the way down to the Austin Capitol. It was like 5 hours to be there. That day, when I saw just how powerful the lobby is in the trans community to do this for the kids, my mind was blown. You would think it was kind of like a fringe issue, not that big of a deal. They are the most well-organized group I have ever seen in my life. And I've got it on video to show you. I want people to see this. They had their own room in the Capitol. They had it rented out in there, giving people instructions on where to stand, what to chant, and when to chant. When the bill went for vote that day, they dropped a big rainbow flag down in the middle of
conservative Texas.
Yeah, in the middle of the Capitol, guys, while they're voting on the bill, and got the whole building kicked out. But here's what was crazy. When they got the whole building kicked out, they were already positioned outside on the left and the right to where everybody that opposed this happening to kids had to walk between them. And as they're walking between them, they're on both sides of them, screaming at them in the face. I've never seen anything so powerful in my life. It's very big. It's very real. Being from Georgia, we have not seen it that much. If you're on the East Coast, guys, you might think, oh, it's not that big of an issue, because that's kind of where I was. And I would come home telling people like, oh my God, you have no idea what's coming. Because over there, the state of Texas really shocks me. It's pretty bad over there. And then the state of California, it speaks for itself. I believe you belong in the Southeast, Adam.
Anyway, I would love to. I would love to get out of California. I've never, even though this is a place I've lived for 45 years, I've never felt a connection with California. There's nothing in California that I'm not a big beach person. I'm not anything like that. I
look like a Midwestern boy, actually. Got
Yeah.
the beard, got the plaid.
Yeah,
I
I
can
would
see
love
that.
my dream is to live in the absolute nowhere of Wyoming. And
Oh, it's
you know,
beautiful.
my uncle was a taxidermist, so he spent a lot of time in Wyoming. And it was a place that I try to make to once a year. For at least a week, I'll drive to Wyoming and just stay
Zen
somewhere.
out.
Yeah, zen out. I'll fish. I'll check out the local wildlife. My dream is to see a bighorn sheep in its natural habitat, but that is a very rare sight to see. Is a bighorn sheep. That was my uncle's favorite animal. So I would love to see a bighorn sheep. But those are the things that I would. That's another thing that we do. I don't get to share those things with Aiden. Like I used to love, baseball and things that I will never be. I mean, this is one of Aiden's Christmas gifts that I bought for him. I bought him a glove. This sits at my desk along with all of his other gifts that I bought him. I never forget a Christmas. I always post a video on Christmas. I never forget his birthday. I never forget any major holidays. I used to post all the time to him, but it just got too difficult for me to do. So now I just strictly bring it down to major holidays, birthdays, or anything that I feel that he would like to know. And that way, if he does come around at 18, I hope I can see him before 18. But if it goes to 18, at least I have my Instagram. I have,
He'll find you.
scan discs already ready to go. If he ever decides to look me up, he could see that it was not me, that it was the system that took me from him. I just want to say hello to Marissa. She's an absolutely amazing person. Big supporter of mine. I appreciate her and her family. Yeah.
I mean, what we're looking at is state-sponsored child abuse. The state is supposed to step in and protect the children. And if this was any other form of child abuse, CPS or something would be stepping in. But because it's family court driven, we will allow these kids to get their privates cut off and pumped full of these dangerous hormones. And this is something, guys, this is why fatherhood is so important. Look, I'm sure there is going to be some freak cases out there, but for the most part, you don't see dads pushing this on their kids. You don't.
There's one or two. Yeah.
There might be one or two. I've heard of, I've never actually personally seen them. But this is a case that's going on where these moms are doing this, and it's family court driven. It's a way to get the upper hand, the same way as the silver bullet. And it is scary that the state allows child abuse to go on to this extent. And the only thing that makes sense is because they profit from it.
Yeah.
Well, there's the money. Yeah. Beth Bourne
always tied
would be
to
one that had her ex-husband change the name of their child over. But Beth Bourne is like probably the only one I've really found. I don't know, Adam, if you're familiar with that case at all.
No, is that out of California? I know there's a father here in California that's trying to transition the boy to a girl, and the mother is fighting tooth and nail against all this.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to change the name on the birth certificate and all that, and then Beth gave up full custody in exchange for the prohibition of any medical transition until the kid's 18.
Yeah. Yeah,
I guarantee you in a case like that, there's some money exchanging going on behind the scenes. There's a reason why it was better for the dad to be in that situation. Yes, there are times where it's the moms that, are fighting up against the dad, and it's generally because she makes more money and it's more profitable for her to be the one going through it, not dad.
Or the dad said he was willing to do this, which will then get the money going.
That's right.
I mean, they're going to go to the highest payer. That's the way it works. One of my things is that I did on the Pissed Off Parent Show, I did a quick video yesterday. We've been dealing with this for at least 40 years. There was a documentary that came out 40 plus years ago that talked about the same things that we're talking about today. Obviously not the gender transition, but talking about the removal of the father, the money, and basically the government taking over your children. And they went through propaganda, social media, schools, TV, you name it, and they're doing it. And the equal shared parenting movement is still doing the same stuff that we've been doing for over 40 years. Let's have a rally. Oh, this sucks. We got to fix it. It's done nothing.
You got to get the laws changed.
We got that. There was a slap in there, and I put it in my video because it just jumped out at me. They said the exact same thing. We need to talk to our legislators. We need to talk to the governor. We need to change the laws and do it legislatively. That was over 40 years ago. And that was in New York and then across the country. But dads have been fighting this on video, at least for over 40 years, and nothing has changed. Our government does not care. I don't know how else to explain that. They don't care. It's all about money. It's going to take we, the people, to change it. Sorry, I'll get off my throne there.
Especially dads, dude, because when you look at it, basically what they're doing is saying, if you want to be with your kids, you have to buy your rights to your kids back from us.
They literally said that in the video.
Weekend, you have to buy that weekend from us.
Yeah.
When did we tell the government that they had the control of our kids and get to sell them back to us as a product? Guys, we should be up in arms about this thing right now. The consequences that it is causing across this nation, dude. Issues like this right here, it is not going to end here. Just when you think these issues can't get any crazier, they're going to get crazier.
Well,
now we're seeing all the parents and the kids getting killed at alarming rates. At these custody exchanges. And almost 100% of these custody exchange murders that we're seeing was something that spilled over from that family court drama. So
John Mastrial, the murder admitted on video, premeditated. Doesn't happen.
And that listening to that case, Eric and guys, really opened my eyes to how wicked the family court can get. They can spread so much lies about the parent, or in this case, the father, that it takes somebody that believes in it, and even though he was found not guilty on those accusations, everything, not guilty on everything, but it built up in this guy so much that he went out and took a father's life, and that should not. That right there should open everybody's eyes that the family court system is not what it's supposed to be, because that I feel for that family, John Master's family, the kids will never have their dad. I couldn't, man, I just couldn't
imagine it. Yeah.
Dude,
you can read more about it in Eric's book.
That's wicked, dude.
He wrote about it in this book and talked about how to fix the problem, what the problem is, specifically to the John Mastrial.
Those poor kids, dude.
My solution is not as sexy, because the solution for so long is people think, let's go talk to a legislator, tell him I'm his constituent. There's going to be a good one, and they're going to get the laws changed, and we're going to get equal shared parenting, and this thing is going to be over. And guys, it's far from that. We don't need to be changing the laws inside a family court. We need to get rid of the family court. 99% of dads should never be going to the family courts. You should have rights to your children, God-given rights. And if you go through a divorce, you just don't want to be with each other anymore. Both of you split up, go your own way. You get equal time with the kid. And then when the kid's with you, you take care of them. The only time I could see a case where their child support might need to be looked at, or is going to need to be looked at, would be like military, where dad's overseas or something like that. Obviously, or it could be mom overseas. I was surprised to see how many women are in the military now. Let's make sure the parent that's there taking care of the kid, they're going to need some help. Outside of that, let's get the conflict out of here, because the conflict is what's causing this. The family courts do nothing but cause conflict. And we're in an area where two people have already went through conflict, and we need to make sure they face the least amount of conflict as possible, because they still got to parent that child. And all the family courts does is teach the two parents how to throw dirt at each other. and how to fuss at each other even more. The majority of parents should never go to court in the first place. Now, the small percentage of cases that do need to go in there, that is high conflict, or that does have some abuse or something going on, that's what family court was supposed to be for. The way it's constructed right now is completely opposite of what it is supposed to be.
It was designed for this, though, to destroy families.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be the outlier here. I've been in this for over a decade. All the videos, all the research I've done, family court, and a judge in that documentary said these exact words. It was designed for this. It was designed to do it.
To do what it's doing. And
Yeah.
Now go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I would like to touch on the child support side just for on my end. I never missed a payment on my child support when I was paying on my own. So I got paid every Wednesday. So she would either get paid at 5 a.m. on Wednesday morning, or either when I got home or on Thursday. And I never missed a payment for 4 years, almost 5 years. One morning I woke up, I was angry, and I put in my Zelle notes, and me being probably the dummy, I thought it was for my eyes only, right? To note, like I would normally put Aiden Vina 1 so I could keep track of how many payments she was getting.
I did the same thing.
Yeah. So one morning I woke up, I put Aiden Vina 1 on there. He's a boy, not a girl. That was just.
Oh, that's it? Oh, okay.
That was it. They took that and they were able to take me to child support, right? Now they're garnishing my wages. I'm not done yet. So never missed a payment in 4 years. She always got paid on time. All of a sudden now I get switched over to child support. Now I'm $700 in the hole. But my argument to them was, how am I $700 in the hole? You've got my social, you've got my address, you've got my bank account, you've got my my last name, and you got my blood type. How is it that you have not made the payment? How is she behind? I called opposing counsel. Opposing counsel, is she behind? Not that I know of. Then why am I getting threatening letters? Why are they threatening me to take my driver's license away? If they take my driver's license away, guys, I lose my job. I don't think people realize that. I lose my job. I don't have a passport, so I'm not worried.
Oh, they realize that. That's exactly why they take it.
Right.
Exactly.
So now, because I'm $700 behind, I owe the state of California $2,000 for taxes. Not because I'm behind on taxes, but because they didn't take enough out of my paycheck, right? So they took my federal state refund. Because I'm $700 behind, they took my $1,700 federal refund. So they took $1,700 when it was only supposed to be $700. I have not seen the rest of that money.
And you won't.
No, I won't. And I refuse. My mom and dad are telling me, you got to call child support and get this corrected. I said, Mom, Dad, I don't have the patience to get on the phone with those people. I don't.
No, because they're not there to make sense out of anything. I had it one time, Adam, where I started working a second job, and they already took full child support out of my first paycheck.
Yep.
Well, that second job, which was supposed to help me get ahead, and they was promising me a better position later on where I could quit my first job and just get one. They started taking another child support payment out of the second check, my second job.
Yep.
Which ended up, now I'm working 30 extra hours a week. I'm working 70 to 80 hours a week, and I'm paying money to work that second job because child support was getting my money twice. I called for a year. Child support wouldn't do nothing about it. And then finally, once it finally got cut off, I told them I wanted my money back or honor that in the child support. And they said, no, you'll just stop paying sooner later on, before your child turns 18. Never saw that money, dude. Never got that money back. They made all these free payments, and I worked all those extra hours for absolutely nothing. And they could care less about what it was putting me through as a dad. Here I am overpaying child support. I'm paying twice the amount, and I get no more respect at all. And they could care less to fix that for me.
You're lucky you didn't go to jail.
Dad,
we had a guy in Texas go to jail for overpaying.
Because we've actually had dads that went to jail for paying too much child support.
You're not making me feel any better.
Oh,
It's the biggest scam out there. Oh yeah, dude. We've had dads go to jail for overpaying child support.
I ran into a father who did 10 years in jail. They didn't stop the child support. And when he got out of jail 10 years later, he ended up owing $108,000 in back child support. He ended up paying it all back. Go ahead.
Dude.
Well, and they
Dr.
charge
Carlos
interest on
New
it.
York.
And it's a scam. Every bit of it's a scam. The whole child support hustle piece of it is so insane. It's nuts. I mean, these
Watch
stories.
that word, Dwayne.
Huh?
You're gonna have a social media post calling you out for using those
God!
words.
Oh, the nutter's gonna get. Oh yeah,
You done it now.
I did it now. Oh boy.
The other thing I want to talk, we talk a lot about Jeff, but in Jeff's fight for his son, that man has gotten death threats, right, on his life.
Oh yeah,
he's been beat up because of this
knocked out of him 20 miles up the road from me.
I have gotten death threats from Antifa. I've been followed by Antifa just because I'm trying to save my son from what they're doing to him, and it's this whole transgender thing on kids is heartbreaking, because these poor kids are going to suffer for the rest of their lives. They're going through this, because they're not treating them the right way. They're not treating them the do no harm way when they're doing harm.
Oh we got the video.
Fuck these fascists! Fuck these fascists! Fuck these fascists!
So for anybody tuning in, this is Jeff Younger. He went to speak at the University of North Texas. When he showed up there to talk against this was the classroom. Antifa and all kinds of people showed up. In the very back of the classroom is actually the professor, the teacher, in there teaching the kids to disrupt the speaker this way. Watch a little bit of what goes on. We're not going to go through the whole video. This is what Jeff Younger went through trying to speak up against this happening to kids. Deadbeat daddy. Jeff Younger, no matter how much money he spent, no matter what he's done, the label him as deadbeat daddy. Look at the hate in their eyes. What he says.
Fuck these fascists! Fuck these fascists! Fuck these fascists!
This is Texas, by the way. Conservative Texas. 10 miles up the road from me.
I will tell you this, even though there's several men in that room, I don't think there's a drop of testosterone.
The parenting at its finest.
There's Jeff Younger.
Free speech! Free speech! Free speech! She's here to speak.
Hate speech is not protected.
Remember that this university has let us down.
It has not let you down. It has you fools! You just shut me down, and now you're angry at me. This university has miseducated you. You have been misled. And I'm not leaving for duration. So count those tables and get it going. Let's go.
So, I mean, dude, this is very hard to watch. I mean, they are like some of the most disruptive people in the world. But what you got to understand, this is part of what I saw at the Capitol that day. Mm-hmm. They're taught this. This really came from feminism in the beginning. The the idea is to speak as loudly as they can, get as loud as they can to make you shut up and to just completely disrupt you. And they will keep getting loud, and then they will start invading your personal space. Now, if this was going on the other end, these people would have been arrested and taken out a long time ago. But this is what was going on, and this is that opposition, guys. When I tell you they are organized, they are well-funded, they know what they're doing, and they are a very tiny minority. Even though it is raised greatly, 475 out of 100,000, and they can organize better than dads can. That's sad, bro. That is sad. I'm going to tell you, they do. They do. And it shouldn't be nowhere near that. They are the minority. But watch a little bit more of what goes on. It gets worse and worse.
Louder! I want you to do it for the full 2 hours. Do it! No, she is not invited. I don't want her to speak at my speech. No! No! Louder! Not your Putin cannot hear you. Louder! 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 Come on, communists! Come on, communists! Come on! I don't think communists, the workers of the world, are giving me.
Oh, it does it right. Oh, what a shame. Oh, man, it's just horrible.
It's only the first 15 minutes. It's the only the first 15 minutes. The Russians have lasted 5 days. Come on. Come on, communists. Come on, communists.
It's upside down, just like your ideology. It's upside down. You went upside down, your world's upside down. All right. How about a name? Come on, give us your name. Come on, have some courage. You are a coward if you're not going to give your name. You're a coward. Take off your mask. Let us see it. Come on. The faceless communist. How courageous. How courageous.
Here she comes. They nicknamed her.
Oh, there's the walrus.
Your women are up before you, you slackers. Come on. Show the world what you really believe.
I agree, Bill.
What you really believe. I want more slander on the board. More slander.
You can see how organized they are. They're all in black. Even the professor's all in black.
This is what I was telling you. They invade your personal space, they get in your face, and then they just keep trying to get louder. And so, Jeff, guys, I've told this numerous times, and so I know we got some new viewers today that maybe have never heard it before, so I'm going to say it again. Jeff, at one point in time, told me they have kind of like a guideline, a rule book that they go by when they do this. And talking about personal space and then body fluids and stuff. And I remember him telling me about it. In my head, because I had never seen it, it didn't make much sense. And I'm thinking, man, he's just a hurting dad. You know, he's getting this stuff off his chest, but it really didn't resonate with me. And then I'll never forget being at the Capitol that day. And when all of it was going down, I started looking around and Jeff's checklist started checking off. And I was like, oh my God, like he was spot on. And it was one of those moments of realization. I came back to Jeff and I was like, dude, before I didn't know what you was talking about, but I got to see it. and he is very smart on how they organize and the things they do. And I don't think this is 100% funded by just trans activists. There is some big money behind our government and big pharma and everything making these protests like you're seeing right now. This isn't just something that just happened out of the middle of nowhere. Somebody put up a Facebook post and said, show up at UNT, and all these kids showed up, because what you're not seeing now is there's hundreds of people waiting outside for Jeff. Black Lives Matter, Antifa, they were all waiting outside for Jeff.
Yep.
It took major balls on that guy right there to do what he did in this video. After he left that night, he got his ribs broken and all kinds of stuff. And I'm surprised somebody could punch hard enough in that crowd to break his ribs. But there was some actors outside that was doing that. And he had to be guarded and locked in a jail cell that night so that nobody could get to him. That's what it took for him to speak up for his son. And you want to call him a deadbeat dad? I'm going to tell you, I've done a lot of things as far as being an advocate and an activist. This was the moment that made me do a nut check. I'm like, I told Jeff, I was like, dude, this was the number one thing I've ever seen in the movement that somebody's done. Just like I said, major cojones that it took. But this is the girl that they nicknamed Screech that night. Watch a little bit about what she does. Well, I don't know what she prefers, but I'm going to call her a she in this. I think it's a she. But let's watch what she does. I want you to look at that face. Look at the look in those eyes. They all have that same look, man. I mean, they are brainwashed and possessed, man.
Yep.
Oh, he's correcting me. It's he. It's he. She.
Oh, that's a he?
I don't look like a he to me. I was waiting for her to say I'm a slithery little snake. Lord have mercy. Can you imagine having that at home?
Something that you haven't been told by your parents.
One of my first thoughts is, what mom or dad raised that? And I don't think it was a dad. I really don't. And how many of those kids you see in that classroom you reckon grew up without a father at home?
I'd say all of them. Well, another thing that should be noted here about Younger is a martial artist. He's studied martial arts for decades. If he wanted to do something, that's the thing about men that a lot of people don't get, is that we have the ability to do lots of violence. I know people are commenting, should have throw it, punched him, should have kicked their butt, whatever.
No.
Younger
the second that he does something back like they're doing, he's gone.
But that's the restraint. I mean, he's sitting there taking all this as a man, and I mean, he could have easily have taken care of business.
Younger was a boxer. He knows jujitsu. He knows numerous different types of martial arts. He's a pretty bad guy. He can defend himself, guys, and he was military. So, and it wouldn't have took anything to do that there. But again, his idea worked amazing, and I'll give you a little bit more of how it worked. And sorry for bringing this up, Adam, while we're in the
you're good.
I think it was good. Is people got to understand the level of opposition that we're up against. They took over a college on this night, guys, was allowed to do this, and there was no repercussions. And the teacher that parents are sending, like paying good money to send their kids to that college.
They want their student loans forgiven.
He's in the classroom with them doing it.
Yep. And another thing that I would like to talk on too is that I think states have made it too difficult for parents to parent accordingly. The states and government have feared the parents. Well, if you spank your kid, that's child abuse, or if you yell at your kid, that's child abuse. And so it could be a two parent household. But the government says, well, if you yell or scream or discipline your kid, you're going to go to jail, or you're going to have CPS being called on you.
Absolutely, bro.
And you're going to either lose your kids or you're going to lose your rights. And parents were like, well, fuck, I want to be able to raise my kids the way I want to raise them, but I also don't want to end up in jail. So the government has instilled fear into parents that they can't properly raise or discipline their kids. And I think that's what we're seeing here is that parents are too afraid to, and the colleges are too afraid to discipline these kids. Well, I don't want to get backlash. I don't want to get sued, or I don't want to lose grant money, or whatever it is. So they just allow these kids to behave and act however they want to,
like animals.
Yeah,
this college should have been shut down after this, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, there's a lot of colleges that should have been shut down. We saw what happened to Riley Gaines.
Well, I was going to say this same thing just a couple of months later, guys. Riley Gaines, the swimmer. All right, this is how strong. I was going to do this afterwards. I'll go ahead and get that out since you brought that up. But this is how strong that trans movement has become. Used to, especially with the fathers, our number one opposition, like that kept us here, was feminism, right? I don't think feminism understands what it's bargaining with, because this movement is now getting inside of women's sports, kicking their asses, winning their gold medals. But just a couple of months after this, Riley Gaines, who speaks up against this too, went to a college, and this same exact thing that you're watching here happened to her. And at one point, they cut the electricity out on Riley, and these grown men that were claiming to be women went up there and started beating the crap out of Riley. If anywhere else a man would have laid his hands on a woman, they would be going to jail. But because those men identified as women and they did it there and it was a protest, they got away with it. No consequences, guys. Feminism should be peeing their pants right now. Like, oh God, look what we caused. But now they're seeing what we've been going through. It's just absolute lunacy, man. It's off the rails.
Yeah. And they'll turn their back on their own kind. Chloe Cole I don't know if she's been attacked, but she's had massive amounts of protests like this when she goes to speak. It's not just, Riley Gaines and Jeff Younger or anybody that speaks out against this. They go after their own kind.
Oh yeah. And they've came after me, brother.
Yeah.
I want to finish this up though. Let's see what Screech is doing right here. And then I want you guys to see that professor. I won't stay on it too much longer.
Yeah.
No! No! I'm not leaving. Let's just do this in 2 hours so the world can see what you're really like.
Just like you hear this chant now, the one chant that they did at the Capitol that scared me more than anything, guys, is "We are here, we're queer, and we're coming for your children."
Yeah.
That was the quote they kept saying over and over and over. We're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children. They made no bones about it. They're coming for your children. They want this movement. And the reason they go after them and want them on puberty blockers so that they don't go through puberty, nothing cures gender dysphoria more than puberty. Because most kids who might have some of these curiosities or confusion, the majority of kids, when they go through puberty, it's gone. They don't think about it anymore. So They want to get them in adolescence because that's the easiest to brainwash. That's the easiest to control. And if they can get a surgery on that kid, there's no coming back.
Right.
It is
And
the
that's why they
most
started.
evil thing on the face of this earth, guys. And we're literally, I mean, I don't think people realize what it is. We need to call it what it is. It's child mutilation. They are literally mutilating your children and pumping them full of foreign hormones. We are messing with God's work here, guys. It's one of the most dangerous things on the face of this earth. And dads like Adam and Jeff that you see on this screen do not have their kids. Do you understand me right now? That's what I said. Yes, Trump passed some laws earlier this year when he got in, but it has done us no good. No good. I'm glad he passed those laws. Yes, thank you. But for the ones fighting against it, they still are without their children. I haven't seen it make a difference for any of them yet. We're still here. We're still at war. And their battle cry in that war is, we're here. We're queer. We're coming for your children.
And before you start the video,
You are here.
If you guys want to watch the whole thing, go on YouTube. It's been for UAT.
You are here. Good. Louder. Louder. Come on. Come on. We have at least another hour and a half. Let's do it. Yeah. Got that, Tim?
No,
Do it.
I guess
I can't.
This is what leftist politics looks like.
Jeff didn't let it bother him, did he?
Leftist politics looks like.
All right, I'm going to stop it now, guys. I was trying
Adam,
to
you
find
had something you wanted to
where
say?
I was trying to find where the professor got in. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
Adam.
no, you're good. I just want to people. The Lupron, the number one puberty blocker that they use on children. One, they started them at 12, so most kids' puberty starts at 13. But in the state of California, they can start the kids on hormones and puberty blockers at the age of 12, right when they're starting to get into their puberty. Also, Lupron, the number one drug that is used on kids, was first used as a chemical. Yeah, sex offenders in jail, a chemical castration pill that they used on pedophiles in jail, but now they're using it on children. If that, dude, I mean,
and they get mad if you bring that up.
Right there, that should start to send up a red flag to everybody. And also, Scott Wiener said in a press conference, Scott Wiener is a state senator here in California, if you don't know who he is, and 90% of the bills that have been written on parents and kids here in California have either been authored by him or co-authored by him. But in a press conference, he specifically stated that these are our kids. And I believe he was talking about AB 1955 during a press conference. AB 1955 was a bill that California passed stating that if the kid is mentally ill or they think they're transgender, that they can oh crap, now I'm drawing a blank on what AB 19. There's so many of them.
I know, dude. It gets
It's 1955.
They don't, they can keep the secrets from the parents in schools. So that if he or she comes out as transgender, or mentally ill, the school does not have to inform the parents. I can't believe a bill like that actually passed here in the state of California, because if I had Aiden and my son, if my son stubbed his toe in school while playing, I want to know about it. That's how minor of it is as a parent, that I want to know what's going on with my kid. And you would think with something as big as either them feeling as the opposite sex or they've got some mentally ill issues, me, the parent, wants to know that my child is feeling this way so I can give them the proper help. I don't want the government or the school health administrator to step in and help my child. That's my responsibility. That's not the government's responsibility to tell me how to help my kid. Go ahead.
This bill
indemnifies
all the people.
What was that?
In that bill, 1955, it indemnifies everyone for keeping the kids' situation from the parents.
Right.
So it says where was it? Part M and Part N. No school employee shall suffer an adverse employment action because the employees support a pupil or pupils in exercising their legal rights of privacy, non-discrimination, yada yada yada. So they've indemnified keeping
secrets from parents,
information from their parents,
yeah,
and they let that pass.
Yeah. Oh, guys, AB 957, right? AB 957 is a bill here in California that a child at 12 years old can emancipate themselves at 12 years old here in the state of California and then go to a group home.
Oh my God.
AB 665.
California is going to face major consequences, I believe. You've seen the wildfires and stuff going on.
AB 655 or 657 was a bill that would criminalize a parent or parents that didn't go along with the transgender stuff. Now, Governor Gavin Newsom vetoed that bill, but he left it up to the family court's discretion. So what we're seeing in the family court is that if you're not a gender affirming parent, right, like Jeff or myself or Harrison or Pat or Gene in Colorado, or there's another father that I've talked to about this, they can remove the child from that parent. And majority of the time it's the father who is not gender affirming because they don't want this to happen to their kid. And so California has passed these outrageous bills that are going against parents, and they're putting them into the foster care system, or they're putting them into a group home, which is another can of worms.
Do we think it's coincidence that the one that won't affirm is the one that doesn't have custody?
Right.
Or doesn't have any rights at all?
Right.
Just think about that, guys. That just shows you how made up that system is. But down here at the bottom, Gwen Renee Meyer, this is Jeff Younger's wife, guys, for anybody that doesn't know. And she is a sweetheart. She has stood behind him every step of the way. And I'd like everybody to just give a shout out to her, because she doesn't ask for it. She probably won't like that I'm doing this right now. I don't care. You deserve it. She has been a champion and stood beside him. I could not do the things I do. I couldn't have done what I did in Idaho with the John Mass trial, or what I did last week with the Whitakers, if not for my beautiful wife at home taking care of this and supporting me. And I know he has that same thing in you, Gwen. And thank God, after what he's been through, he's got somebody he can come home to that he trusts. But she let us know that the professor there at UNT that was in there with those kids transitioned his own daughter. So the one teaching the kids, you wonder why the kids are acting that way? Guys, this is a very, very serious issue. And I want to get very real with this.
Oh, we're getting real now.
I mean, we've been getting real, but no, this is on another level. This is stuff that me and Adam talk about off the screen and on the telephone, that I think the people need to hear is what we're going to do about it. And I am so pissed off as a content creator that these dads that I have fought for trying to get their stories out, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to call it for what it is. I have watched you guys get used and abused for views, and then there's never any follow-up. How many documentaries have you been asked to participate in, Adam?
I've just done the one documentary,
and then tons of interviews.
Tons of interviews. And again, I do it because I want to get my story out. You know,
I know.
And what I was hoping with traveling and doing all this is that I would get a competent attorney. You know, my previous attorney, I know that's funny, but my previous attorney was great, right? He was good. He had my back. He had Aiden's back. But when you go into the court system, the opposing counsel speaks for 45 minutes just on the gender assessment. And then when it's my attorney's job to speak out against it or pick holes through it, the judge shuts him down and tells my attorney that we're not here for a gender assessment. My attorney goes, wait a second, opposing just spoke for 45 minutes on it. Now I'm allowed to speak on it. He goes, no, we're not here for a gender debate, and would not allow my attorney to speak about it. He tried, and I'm grateful for that.
Are you talking about Juhas?
Yes,
Adam?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm talking about
there you
Juhas.
go.
Just to know, guys,
That's the time.
Adam has the same exact judge in California that Jeff Younger has. Jeff Younger went through another one in Texas. He talks about that all the time, and I just wanted to make that note. He's going through the same judge that Jeff Younger was going through. Keep going, Adam.
And also, my first judge, Harvey Silverman out of Pasadena, he was part of the AFCC, which is a group of activist judges, family court judges, attorneys, everything like that. I did a podcast kind of infiltrating what the AFCC was all about. Not saying that all of everything that we came up with was true, but there's a lot of evidence to show that some of the stuff is true. We filed a 170.6 to remove the judge. He did not do it. But as soon as I dropped that podcast, he removed himself without cause and sent me to Juhas, who was the president. So Harvey Silverman was on the board of directors of the AFCC. They sent me to Juhas, who was the president of the AFCC. I had no chance at any of this. I had not a shot. But what I was hoping was going to happen, one, with the documentary, two, with doing podcasts and everything like that, that I would get some type of an attorney that would be able to walk in there and put their legal hands around these fucking people's throats and just shake them. Be like, dude, what you're doing is one, wrong to the father. Two, wrong to the
He's not talking about in the physical sense, guys.
That's why I said the legal. That's why I said the legal
go.
hands. I always want to specify that I want someone to wrap their legal hands with law and order and just shake and be like, look, guys, what you are doing to this child is 100% wrong. Common sense shows that all these drugs, all these surgeries, all these social transitions is not doing good to these kids. In fact, it's doing more harm. But the court system is not looking at it with facts and evidence. They're ruling off of feelings and emotions. And you cannot rule and money. You cannot rule in a courtroom on feelings and emotions because you're not going to get anywhere. You have to go off of facts and evidence. And if the evidence and the facts in my case showed that I'm not a violent father to my son, I was never a violent father to her. All I did was get angry and I used bad words in my text messages. That's all I did. But they were able to hit me with an 8-year fucking restraining order, 3-year TRO, and then Judge Juhas hit me with a 5-year restraining order. Minors Counsel, now you're getting me pissed. Minors Counsel was supposed to advocate for my fucking son, right? I'm still sitting on Christmas gifts from 4 years ago, guys. My first video I ever posted on Instagram was me opening my gifts to my son to show him that what he got from his grandparents, his uncles, his aunts, my son has never met his cousins, never met half my family, and all because of feelings and emotions. And all I wanted from what I was doing, I don't care about the fame. I don't want any of that. I want to go back to being I want to go back to being a dad, and I want to go back to just my normal self. You know, I appreciate the friendships that I have made, like you guys and the hundreds of other people that I met. I would never have known Seek from Mom Army. I would never have gotten to know Patriot Barbie or Lindsey Graham who broke my story or anything like that. I have created some most amazing friendships over the last couple of years that I am truly grateful for, because I don't know where I would be without guys like you, without Seek, without Lindsey, or without anybody that I have met. But all I want is my son. All I want is a competent attorney, and all I want is my son back. I want to go fishing. I want to shoot guns with my son. I want to go to baseball games. I want to do the normal father stuff with my son. That's all I want. And that's why I did what I did, you know, and now it has gone. I know I'm going way off, but
No, you're good, dude.
But
This
my-
is what it's for. Get it off your chest, bro.
but now my focus is how can I help other dads?
Right.
What can I do to expose the family court system, expose and help another father not get into this situation, either me or Jeff or Harrison or Pat are in, or a custody situation that turns south, like what happened with in John Mass's case. All I want is fathers to be in the home and be with their kids. That's all I want. I don't want another, I don't want another father to go through what millions of fathers have gone through over the last God knows how long. You know, all I want is a system that is going to work for both parents. I want a system that is going to sit down and listen to the father's feelings. I want the system to listen to the father and not it be a one-sided court. That's what I want, man. And it pains me every time. There's a guy out there, I don't know his name, but he has a page called Father Speak Up. This father has been drugged through the ringer of the family court system in New York. That man stands out in front of family courts and educates other dads how to gain custody. And if you go in there looking like crap, he'll pull you out and say, dude, I need you to come in here. I want you wearing a suit. I want you to look professional. I want you to do this. This is how you're going to win your case. But the father on the Father Speak Up, he sits out in front of the Brooklyn family court system and he helps fathers on his own dime, even though he's fighting. He hasn't seen his son in almost 4 years. They've allowed the mother to take the son to another state and not follow court orders to bring the kid back to New York for visitations. It's been ordered, but he still sits out in front of those family courts all over the 5 boroughs and helps out other dads. I mean, we need a system that is not broken. We need a system that is going to stand up and listen to fathers.
Unfortunately, as long as that court system exists the way that it does, and they know that they can twist things for their advantage and to maximize profits, they are going to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, what I saw was you dads that were going through these issues. It became very popular to get you on shows because you got views, because they can sensationalize the issue. Trans versus not trans, kids getting trans surgeries. And it was all these people wanted to do documentaries and wanting to do podcasts, but there was never any follow-up. There was never any solution to it. And one thing that I've seen, a lot of these big organizations, they'll make these documentaries and the issue has become nothing but politics. They never explain how the family court system has become the crux of the issue here, you know? And so I want to finish that documentary with Jeff. I talked to him not long ago. He's wanting to get involved with me. I'm going to have to end up doing fundraising and stuff for it though, guys. And I want, at the end of that, I don't want to put out a documentary just to put out a documentary. You guys put down in the comments, because I'm open to hearing it. And we have got to use this to our advantage. And there's got to be a call of action at the end. Right. This is how you get involved. We have to end this now, because if we don't end this now, we are passing this issue off to our kids and their kids. We have got to end this now. There has to be a call of action. There's no use in making a documentary just to make a documentary. People need to see the issue and where it all stems from, where the money comes from, who it's going to, and let's put an end to the madness.
Yeah. And I think that's what's great about Dad Talk today is the follow-up. You know, I talk to you all the time, but I can tell that Dad Talk is passionate about the father. You're not like the normal people that go, oh yeah, transgender's bad, get the clicks and likes, and then that's the last thing you hear about it. It's something that you consistently talk about, you follow up, and the biggest thing is that you actually care about the dad. You actually care. I love you guys, man. And the first time I ever heard about Dad Talk today is that you did an episode on Thanksgiving. You open the line, you open the whatever you want to call it, the stream to mass. Yeah. helping fathers out, getting it off their chest, because this stuff builds on dads, and men are not ones to just to go out and share their feelings or speak about. We build it.
And even if they did, they have nowhere to do it.
Right. Exactly. And I think you're putting your words to action, and not a lot of people put their words to actions.
Yeah.
And you've done that on quite a number of documentaries, guys. You show up to court cases. You highlight the major issues that are affecting dads, out in the United States. And I hope that documentary comes to light, because what fathers are facing, especially when it comes to the transgender stuff, is horrific. James, I feel for James, Jeff's kid. That poor little boy does not deserve this. He did not deserve to be kept away from his dad. Neither does Aiden. Neither does Pat's kid. Neither does, none
of them.
None of them. Anyways, all because the gender affirming stuff. And that's absolutely heartbreaking.
You talk about that Thanksgiving, and this guy right here, was the very first one that signed up on that, Adam. And I didn't know when I did that show and me and him talked that 2 months later I'd be standing over his casket.
Yeah.
That's when I knew it was serious already, and that dads had an uphill battle. But when one of the guys that came to get his story out with me ends up dead and I'm standing over his casket, the realization in that moment, as I'm looking down at John's body, guys, if you could have just got in my head for a second, I was trying to process like what just happened here. This was a guy that came to you to get his story out. Now he's no longer here.
Nope.
Now more than ever is when you have to get his story out. And I think media is our number one weapon against evil. We can set the story straight now more than ever. Back in the day, you didn't have podcasts. You didn't have social media. You had to rely on mainstream media to get the word out. We don't need that anymore. And I think more than ever now, people don't trust the media anyway.
No.
I get the majority of my news and the accuracy from podcasts. It's sad that Joe Rogan has more facts in his podcast than Fox or CNN.
Yep.
But he does.
And he's the only real podcaster that continues to bring up the transgender stuff on a regular. I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan stuff, and almost every episode he brings it up. No matter who he's talking to, he's always bringing up what's happening to the kids. Even though I'm a Bears fan, I give it to Aaron Rodgers. He even spoke heavily out against, the transgender stuff, and we need more podcasters like that to really speak about what's really happening to the kids here in the United States. The
one thing I love about Rogan, dude, is very similar to what you talked about earlier about making your mistakes. I have seen Rogan have like a very hard stance on certain issues, and I didn't necessarily agree with him, but I know Rogan believed in him that way, and he stood behind it, and he did it for good reasons. And then a year or so later, he would be on the exact opposite side and say, I was wrong.
Right.
Not many people can do that nowadays.
No.
Generally, they say, this is the issues that I stand for, and they won't hear any other views. I think that's the dangerous thing with this trans thing, and especially doing it to kids, because the left has done such a good job at saying, if you're Democrat or you're left, you have to be for these surgeries. And you have to be for doing this to kids. I'm sorry, but I just don't believe that the majority of the people that vote with the left, if that hadn't been grouped with their cause, would have went for that in the past.
No.
I just don't think that that's something that they really would want to get behind. But because they've been told, if you want to be on our team, these are the issues that you got to go by. It's so crazy that our world has come to that. To me personally, I think one of the biggest things that would save our country right now is we need to get rid of political parties. We should not be voting based on the color or the letter beside their name, whether they're Republican or Democrat. Get rid of the parties. Tell me what you stand for, and that's what I'm going to vote for you on.
Yeah.
And then people would have to be real. They couldn't just say, oh, you got to vote for me because that's my team.
Right.
It's like a football game, dude. People pick their football teams. I'm going to root for them no matter what. No, we should be voting on what you stand for, not because of those letters. But I've seen so many people that I know are good people of morals, but because now the left is supposed to stand for that, they got behind that issue. And I'm just sitting back like, I know you don't really think that.
Right.
But we talk about parental alienation. That's what I call political alienation. A lot of people have been political alienated to think that that's okay.
Right.
It is not okay to mutilate a child and to put those foreign hormones in their body. I don't even think it's okay for a grown person to do that. But if
that's their choice,
you're a grown person, you're over 18, you're allowed to do what you want to do with your body. Right. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your body. And I'm going to stay out of that. But I'll tell you what, you stay the hell away from my children. And you stay the hell away from the other children. You go trying to put that in their minds, that's when you're going to hear from me.
Yeah.
As long as you keep that away from the kids, I'll never say anything, but stay away from the kids, man.
Yeah.
And we just got to start showing people how serious of an issue this is and how big of an issue it is. So I feel it on my heart very, very heavily. I've got to finish that film with Jeff. Not just that, guys, I guess this is my first true podcast since I've been home, since the John Mash trial. We just got off of a landmark case. We're not used to getting a win, a $6.3 million verdict against the Brashear family. And they found Becky twice as liable as they did Jim, the one that pulled the trigger. Make no mistake, this was never, ever, ever, ever about money. Even though they got a $6.3 million verdict, dude, the Brashears look like a family that's got a lot of money. They'll probably never see a penny. But John was vindicated.
Yes.
They made John out to look like he was a monster. And I finally saw something the other day where the local media, who done the shittiest job on the face of this earth on reporting on John's case, they pretty much put it out that he was innocent and all the evidence that showed that he was. It's a little too late now, guys. I guess some would say better late than never, but you guys should be ashamed of yourself. You really should, because you had all of that information you put in that article years ago and you're just now doing it. But all of that to be said, that was a long way of saying I need to get an I Stand With John Part 3 going too. Because I've made 2 documentaries on John's case. The last one ended on a very bad note where the killer got away with manslaughter. That was supposed to be first-degree murder. The best chapter was just wrote. And I think there's going to be more chapters that come after that. But I want to break that trial down and put it out there for people to see who don't have time to watch the whole trial, because I think it was like 50 hours of footage. But such a good feeling, man. If you guys could have been inside of my head and my body for that moment when that verdict got read, it was like 1,000 pounds that had just been weighing me down for 5 years, dude, lifted off, guys. It was, I had a panic attack, waiting for the verdict, because the last time when the verdict came, I've never been so crushed in my whole life. You could not have fought harder behind an issue than we did. And to see that silver bullet continue to do the damage to John that it did, even though I thought the attorneys just wiped the floor in this last case, that unknown of what that verdict was going to be, I had a panic attack. But there at the end, as I kept hearing, 1 million and stuff, I'm like, we did it. We did it. And all I could think about was, John, are you listening, dude? We freaking did it. And the movement really needs to be paying attention. That was a landmark case, guys. That was unprecedented. It was historical. It was the biggest win that I've ever seen when it comes to parental alienation. And then the best feeling after that was as soon as I got in the hallway, John's dad was on the phone with his wife, Sarah, John's mom. And he said, oh, Sarah, hold on a minute. I got somebody you need to talk to. And I'm on the phone with John's mom as she's getting the news about the verdict, dude. Oh my God, guys. Those are the moments that keep you going.
Yep.
Those are the moments that keep you going. And those are two projects that I'm going to have to work on. And I need the community's help. We are not well funded. And the only way I'm going to be able to make them is if somebody helps out with some fundraising. So if you're somebody, I've been asking over the past couple of weeks, if there's somebody out there that knows how to do fundraising and would like to help us, please let me know. And yes, go read the book. If you're not familiar,
Go to Amazon, buy the book.
yeah. If you're not familiar with the family courts, that's what I did with that book. It's for most people that's been around for years. If you get in that book, you're going to hear a lot of the same stuff, but there's a lot of research in there too. But for somebody that maybe not be as much or as familiar with some of what's going on, it's all in there, dude. And I believe the very first thing you get in that book, usually when you do a book, they want a foreword or they want, somebody to write that's like a notable celebrity or something that'll help push book sales and stuff. Nah.
Where can you get that, Eric?
I got
Amazon.com.
Yeah.
What was that?
Amazon.com. On Amazon, I could probably drop the link in here. It's on if you go to dadtalktoday.com, the link for the book is on there. Also, if you want to talk to Eric and schedule an appointment, people can do that. There's some good resources on the website, dadtalktoday.com. Eric, I love correcting you. You did mention, that the foreword and all the information, it talked right. I mean, chapter 1 is the murder of John Mast.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is usually they get. I was supposed to get like a celebrity or notable figure, and I know several, and I could have.
Yeah.
But I wanted the first thing you saw in that book to be about John. And I let his dad is the one that wrote the foreword. I dedicated the book to my dad.
There we go. I was getting ready to correct
I figured that was where he was going. I
to
dedicated the book to my dad, but I wanted the first meaningful thing that you read not to be Eric is this great guy that fights family courts and does this. Here's his accomplishment. I don't want that crap, dude.
I'm still disagreeing with you, Eric.
Take that moment and make it about John, because out of everything I've done with Dad Talk, man, I would say John Mast case is probably the closest, and I'm close to all of them. Don't get me wrong, but that case has a special place in my heart. I am consumed by that case. So such a good moment that we went through, guys.
Again, still going to respectfully disagree, because pulling in what Adam was talking about, the time with his dad, time with your dad, I've talked about my dad, is dedicating to your father. That's what a lot of this is about, is we are who we are because of our dads.
Oh, 100%. We're going to
continue this on. We need to get dads back with their kids. Plain and simple.
I haven't talked about it on here much, but what I'm doing with the Whitakers now, a lot of people would have been wondering, like, why are you doing this? Because they've been exploited in the past, and people get them for views and money because they're popular by making them look like the freak show, which ain't going to be happening on my book, or it's not going to happen while I'm there. But this is what I was taught when I was a kid, guys. What you see me doing up there with the Whitakers, that was 100% my dad. And when I see the videos of me doing it, it's like watching my dad all over again. I learned so much from the old man. My dad was not the greatest preacher. I mean, he was a nice guy. He could talk, but he would bore you in the church a lot of times. I'll be honest with you. He was the greatest pastor I ever saw in my life. He was always doing something for somebody and always there for the less fortunate and the mentally challenged and stuff. And then that's what my mom did growing up too. But everything you see me doing with them and people saying, oh, you're such a great guy. I've seen all those comments. I learned it from my old man. And when I was a kid, I swore I didn't want to be anything like my dad. I think we all have those moments, where we think we're too cool for our parents. I'm a chip off the old block, man. Every day I'm reminding myself more and more of him. And I am so proud that I had that upbringing and that he showed me how to care for people more than what we care for ourselves. Because I tell you, there is no money on the face of this earth, no money, no accomplishments. There's nothing that can give you the feeling of like if you go and watch that video yesterday of when I'm talking to Betty and Larry and Lorraine, who people hardly ever see talk, is saying, "Hey there, Eric. Hey there, Eric." She's talking, trying to get my attention. And then when I walk over there, giving me a hug. That's what it's about, dude.
Yeah.
People being impacted. This life is temporary. We are all headed straight to the same place. People act shocked when somebody dies. Well, guess what, guys? I hate to ruin this for you. We're all going there. Okay.
Right.
And it's probably not going to be the prettiest thing when it happens. Generally, it's, some may go peaceful or something, but it kind of sucks at the end. What we're doing right now is a gift to be able to sit here and to talk, and we can plant seeds in other people to make sure that the earth that our kids and our grandkids are going to have is a better place. And that's the real stuff. And I love doing what I'm doing there. There is no money, dude, that can compare to that feeling of serving someone and making their life better, dude. And it was 100% Dwayne. Yes, I got that from my father. And so I love you and I miss you. Guys, we've been going for a couple hours now. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Adam, really quick before we get out of here, I mean, kind of give me the layout. What's going on in your case right now?
Right now, what's going on in my case is nothing. I'm waiting till 2028 when the restraining order is going to be back in trial, or whatever you want to say. I had an appeals set up, but I didn't have the $20,000 to pay to give my attorney to get me into the appeals. So now I'm in this limbo, or whatever you want to call it, until the appeals comes up. And that's pretty much it, man. I mean, some of the stuff that I'm working on in the background, I'm setting up a dad's conference sometime next year. I want to, if I can get 50 dads to this conference, I would be stoked. But my goal is to use some of the people that I've met over the last couple of years and get them to the conference. I want to get major speakers to do a morale boost for fathers. I think fathers have been, as we're talking about, been beat up for a very long time. And I think there's a real low morale in men and in fathers.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And I would like to do a conference where it's just heavy speakers, just pumping it back into the fathers that you guys matter. You guys are the pillars of the family. You guys are the ones that hold the household up. Yeah. And that's what I feel like I'm being called to. The other two things I'm looking at starting is a cigars with dads at my local cigar shop, where I can gather maybe 4 or 5 dads to sit down, smoke cigars, and just talk and bullshit. If the father needs to vent about something, or, I want to start something to bring fathers together. And the third thing that I'm going to look at too is that we just opened I love golf. So there's a virtual golf shop that just opened up here in my town. It's got a bar. It's got 4 big screens where you can play every golf course in the world on. And I would like to get, 4, 8 fathers together and just, have a couple beers and hit a round of golf in the simulator, or even go to a golf course. But I think, like you have started, Eric, an outlet for dads. I want to do something like that. It doesn't have to be heavy. It doesn't have to be just some light, just dads hanging out.
Dude, you're the first time I've heard somebody say something very effective and realistic. He didn't say he's going to do a 1,000,000-man march in DC or anything. He said, I want to get some heavy speakers, and if I can get 50 dads. I'm like, he just put realistic numbers. I don't usually hear that. That is perfect, dude.
Yeah.
Because when you can get up in person, one thing I used to do in 2022, went to 43 states. Every time I went back then, I would let people know this is where I'm going to be. Come meet up with us. And there were several states where we had like 50 or 60 people that would show up when I got there. And we'd have this local meetup and people got to talk about their stories. Literally anywhere we went, no one wanted to go home. They finally found an outlet with people that understood them, that they didn't have to over explain, because these were people that knew what they had been through and nobody wanted to go home. It was just like this camaraderie. And it's so important to have that. It's so hard to make that for dads, though, especially ones going through the system, because the majority of them are working and they don't have the money to go out. So if you can make this thing where it doesn't cost much money, or maybe even have something, Adam, where if something does happen, they could get sponsored, by somebody.
Dude,
Show
Eric,
that, keep it small, 20,
Yeah.
30 bucks. You know what I mean?
I would love to start a foundation. I mean, this is long down the road, but I would love to start a foundation for fathers that I could host a golf tournament, raise money. And if there's a father like me or Jeff or Harrison or Pat that is struggling with legal fees, that I could figure out a way to try to pay part of their retainer, or have a list of people on a website.
I've tried that one.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to have something that fathers can go to and be like, this is a form. If you don't want to hire an attorney, this is a form to how to file an RFO. This is how to word an appeals. If you're trying to appeals a case, these are the step-by-step cases. These are people that you can trust, that will either write your appeals for you or write your RFO for you, because I don't want to see another father get railroaded. And if fathers can have an outlet where they know how to do this type of stuff on their own, they're going to save a bunch of money. Yeah, there might be a situation that comes up where they have to have an attorney, but if a father can do this on their own and they have a template somewhere that they can go to and download and write their RFO, which is a request for order, or something like that, they can do it. Guys, I don't want to see another dad get fucked. I don't.
I get it.
I don't. And
they are all day, every day.
But my main goal is the conference, and I want to do the morale boost for fathers, for men.
That's important, dude.
And because as we know, there's so much stuff out there for women. There's so many outlets there for women to go to. They've got conferences for women. They've got conferences for young women, but they don't have anything set up for fathers. And if I could do that, that would be my way of fighting for Aiden.
Dude, so we did a fatherless conference there, and Ajit Nanan, I'll have to hook you up with him. He was up there by Esquivel in Santa Cruz. We were on the outskirts. I'll have to apologize. I don't remember exactly where it was, but 300 dads showed up that night, dude. And they invited me down to be a speaker, and they originally invited me down and wanted me to do a 3-hour talk. And I'll give somebody a little secret about me. I hate public speaking. I can do it on this podcast all day long. You get me in person, I'm like a deer in headlights. I don't like it. It's not my thing. I'm a very private guy. I like sitting at home with my shirt off and my socks off and playing video games.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. Me and Dwayne, we get along so much because we're just like each other. But I was like, I'll come, but I'm not doing it 3 hours.
Right.
And so I got 3 other speakers to come with me, and I divided up my time and gave them the opportunity, and I just had 15 minutes. But about 300 dads showed up, man, and we did a Q&A and stuff afterwards. And again, that same thing. Nobody wanted to go home. I think when people put this stuff together, most of the time it's usually let's do a protest or let's do that. The fact that you're doing something where you just want them to get up and have some fun and for a moment forget what they're going through, that's different, man. And I like that.
Yeah.
Develop the relationship first, and then we'll talk about what the next steps are. Find somewhere for them to get in there and be appreciated and to have someone pay attention to them and spread the brotherhood, man.
Yep.
We need more of that right now. How many lives could that save? You know, so if I can help in any way, let me know, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I talked to my father the other day about this. And I was trying to figure out ways to again, help people, help fathers. And
That's a huge one.
Yeah. Everyone that I have talked to, and I talked to a fairly big name in the extreme sports world. And when I told him about that, his eyes got huge.
Dude, I got a lot of UFC fighters in my contacts.
Yeah. And he was 100%. He said, here's my number. As soon as you get dates and an area where you're going to host it, please text me and I will do everything to help you out, because I have never heard of that before. So I think that's where my calling is now.
There you go, man. That's huge.
Yeah.
I would want to be a part of that.
I want you a part of that.
I'm saying, like, if I was in that area and I heard there was going to be a meetup for dads,
I think so.
Oh yeah, dude.
I think there hasn't been I have never seen anything like that before. And I think I think that will be something. Again, if 50 fathers show up, I'm stoked. If 1,000 fathers show up, I'm stoked. But I want to keep it small. I just want dads to know that they're not. Yeah, I want the fathers to know that they're not pieces of shit. You know,
I know, man.
You know,
I want a lot of stuff on Pissed Off Parent under Fix the Glitch and the nationwide resources by state and stuff. You got what you guys have been talking about. I'm like, oh, I remember that being some. Oh, it's on my website.
Yeah, yeah. I've noticed too that, you know, when we were kids, all the TV shows were about strong family units. You know, you look at The Simpsons. You know, say what you will about The Simpsons, but it was Homer was at home, Marge was at home.
Yeah.
Homer might have been at the bar a few times, but
he's a bumbling idiot.
Yeah, he was a bumbling, but he was still the dad. And you look at Family Matters, you look at Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, strong family units. You look at a lot of the TV shows back then that they were still bringing the family together, the full family household. They were talking good about the dad. What we see now is that the dads are scared, they're wimps, or they're not in the picture. A lot of the commercials you see nowadays, there's no father figure in the commercial, you know, and that's just projecting to society and to the kids that this is normal, that there should not be a father. And I want that to change. I know we all three want that to change, but we need to bring back that strong masculine figure back into the TVs.
You saw the consequence in that classroom earlier.
Yeah.
Those kids sitting there.
Yep. Yeah. So that's my calling, guys.
I love
that's my way to get back, give back to dads. That's my way to stay in this fight for Aiden. As difficult as it is,
I love hearing this, dude. I love it.
As difficult it is not to, you know, I posted that picture on my Instagram of the empty, you know, front door. You know, everybody was posting pictures of their kids' first day of school. And I took a screenshot of the front door and I put, you know, Aiden's second grade picture, and there was nothing there. There was no plaque saying first day of school. But I wanted to show that, you know, not being able to be there for him on his first day of school is
people have no idea how far you've come though, man. From when we first started talking a couple of years ago to now, I'm so glad to see you've gotten your emotions in check, because I mean it was getting you pretty bad.
I have my moments.
I know,
especially sitting in the cab of that work truck for 12 hours. You know, I had a complete breakdown, you know, yesterday in the cab of the truck, you know, and, you know, I think it was just with Father's Day. His birthday was on the 25th. And, you know, first day of school has never affected me in 4 years. And for some reason this year, it really affected me. Yeah, it really hit me, because I know, you know, knowing that little boy is, you know, because I've got so much to share. You know,
it's okay. Hey, how many times does this make you've been on here now?
Yeah, I know, but I'm grateful. I don't know where I'd be without you guys, without Seek, without, you know, Lindsay. I don't know where I'd be without you guys. And I'm grateful, because you guys Dad Talk puts the words into actions, and
we're family, bro.
Yeah, it's displayed on everything that you guys post and do, you know, to help fathers out. So very grateful. I know there's a lot of fathers out that are grateful for you guys too. So
I appreciate that, man.
yeah.
Adam, tell everybody where they can follow you if they want to keep up with your story.
You can follow me on Instagram. I'm not a big social media person. Majority of my followers are on Instagram. It's just plain and simple, Adam.Vena, V-E-N-A.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all next time, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. And, well, you know what? I was about to hit the end stream. Just in case, not trying to get you emotional before we get out of here. Just in case the little guy sees this one day, what's something you'd like to put out there for your son on the way out, Adam?
Aiden, it's Dad. I'll start out how I start all my videos. Aiden, it's Dad. I love you. I miss you a ton. Everything I have done is to protect you. I know it doesn't seem like I have been able to do that, but I've tried my hardest, buddy. And the powers to be have not allowed me to be the father to you that you deserve. I love you. Grandma and Grandpa miss you a ton. Auntie Carol, Uncle Jordan miss you a ton. And you have two beautiful cousins. And one day they're gonna meet you. But I love you, pal. Big time. I miss you. Dude, you have no idea how much I miss you, pal. I love you. Be safe out there. Don't listen to what opposing counsel, mom, and the state is telling you. So I love you, pal. Be good, okay?